Hey guys, welcome to another volume of Samson's World. This is a very special volume I have here. I have my very good friend, my old podcasting partner. She's a comedian, actress, artist, entrepreneur, farmer. You'll find out about that. Give it up for Miss Samantha Abrams.
Nice. You got the sound effects bar. Very nice, Samson.
Thank you. What did you think about that, Sam?
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you about that sound effect of that's a bunch of frat boys I recorded, and I'm like, guys, give me just a woohoo.
Is that really a recording that you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Listen again.
Yeah, that's way too tame for
It's way too, yeah.
frat boys.
It does sound a little bit like that. So Samantha Abrams is on the show, guys. Sam, talk to us. So you are, we haven't seen you in a while. Not too long, but I mean, people who don't know you, you are a comedian, actress, entrepreneur. You are very well known in the community for starting the Speak comedy night, which is out of your apartment that you turned into a comedy club. Talk to the people just off the top a little bit about that. About Speak.
Is right. Yeah. You know, it was one of my favorite, craziest ideas. I was building this comedy club inside my apartment because at the time I was newly divorced. I had 2 kids. I didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to kind of keep my pinky finger in the industry.
So build a comedy club in your apartment. That sounds about what most people do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it never. There's quite a long story in how it came about, but it just boiled down to me getting, sitting there and getting this really creative, crazy idea and thinking, you know what? Let me see if it'll work. And I'm building I built the stage. I built all the decorations, and then even some of the tables I built.
You had little miniature tables. You had candles on the tables. You had the black chairs like a comedy club.
Lots of LED lights.
LED lights. You also had, what I love about it is you're going into a club. A lot of times you'll see headshots of comedians.
Yeah.
And signatures like on the wall of the Comedy Store. And Sam also had, Eddie Murphy's headshot up and all that. And the different comedians who had played there, you had them sign.
Well, the idea was if somebody were to pass out and get drug in there and then wake up, they would not know that they were not in a bona fide comedy club.
That's true. That's very true.
And that proved to be true. And so, in 2016, and I believe it was June, we had our first show. I had sort of done some very organic marketing, word of mouth, because as you know, the rule was no phones, no social media.
That's right. Del Harrison introduced me to. I think Del introduced us, but if I'm not correct about that,
she introduced. I think that's how we met.
I think she did. I think that
Speak.
Because I came to Speak, I performed there one time, and it is a kind of a daunting thing. Like, you go up, you have a legitimate stage, a microphone. Like, if you were to film it, you wouldn't know that you weren't in a comedy club.
Yeah.
But when you're there, you're definitely like, oh my God, this is just a miniature comedy club in an apartment. And to the right was your kitchen where you were like fixing drinks and whatever you wanted.
Yeah, it was totally insane.
It was.
But it worked. Every idea is crazy until it works.
It did. And I love, like I said, your miniature signature wall. That was one of my favorites. And, you had comedians, Marlon Wayans went there. We were talking Jay Phillips went there. Tell people who some of the biggest comics that dropped through to your apartment comedy club.
Well, my first show, I believe, was July 7th, 2016, and I believe there were 25 seats, and then, of course, if those were full, there was standing room. But the first show went great, and then the second show, Keenan Ivory Wayans showed up, and
that's pretty nuts.
I know. Well, at the time, he and I have been friends for a long time, and his son, Keenan Ivory Jr.
Yeah, the junior.
Was beginning to perform comedy back then. And if you know Keenan, he's very, he's not very animated. But when he did show up that night on our second show, his shoulders were up and he was so excited about Junior. Being a comedian. It was like his last
Did he go
chance.
Up or just his son
No,
did?
Keenan Ivory, senior never performed, but Junior did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, is he still doing comedy, the junior?
I don't
I haven't really heard about him on the scene at all. That's why I'm asking.
know, and I dare not say I don't think so, but I haven't
Right.
seen him
Yeah.
on the scene.
Well, you know what happens, unfortunately, in comedy? If you're not seen, people assume that you quit comedy or you're dead. You know, when I kind of
Right.
somebody told me Justin Hires when I was on my show recently, and you know Justin, and he goes, yeah, Sam, we just, you know, you kind of popped in and out of stand up. You know, we thought you were out of it, and then you were back, and I was like, I was just raising my kids, but that is the perception when you're not booked and at the clubs and everything.
Well, one of my most favorite rumors that I heard about myself was when because I do that. I'd pop in for a few years and pop out. And one of my favorite rumors was that I was locked up, and it was almost, it was partially true.
Wow. Hilarious. Let's not spill all the tea for you.
Less than 48 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Now, Samantha, a lot of people don't know, but you are an author. So tell people about The Art of Sex, right? Is that
The Art of Sex? I wish.
No, what is it? Yeah, that is. I think that's a mix of Donald Trump's book and something else. What was your book called again? I'm tripping. Of course, I know it.
Well, I tell you what, the book,
The Player,
the Complete Player.
The Complete Player.
If I had it to do over again, I would have chosen a different title. But the book is about the brain science behind sex, love, lust, and heartbreak.
Okay.
And it's actually very funny. And what I'm doing is just taking, you know, the science of emotions, just emotive and cognitive science, and applying that to relationships, and sex, and love. And then, of course, the respective difference between male and females and how we process it.
Right. And that was the podcast that you and I were on.
Yeah.
It was your podcast that I kind of, you know, eventually kind of ended up kind of coming in on sometimes. And it was
coming in on. You were my co-host.
I was your co-host. I don't mean coming. I wanted to make a sexual reference. Coming in on.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Yeah. Until my wife was like, "What's up with that sex podcast you're doing?" Yeah. But I'm like, it's science and sex, Liz. You know, it's not. You know, really, it's not that. It wasn't that crazy. I don't think.
No.
You know, because we were just more asking the comedians. You know.
All about the dirty stuff.
All about the dirty shit.
It was pretty dirty.
Yeah, I mean, we had Big Daddy Kane. That was a big highlight. You know, Big Daddy Kane, who was actually not that tall. I was surprised by that. You know?
He's the right amount of chocolate.
The right amount of chocolate. That's what they always say. Now, so back to your book, though.
Yeah.
Is it hard to publish a book? You know what I mean? Is that something that takes obviously a lot of time, money? Like,
well, I mean, you know, there's a few different ways to do it. If you're going to self-publish, which I did, I used the Amazon platform. But if I tell you what, if I'd known what I know now, I would have not self-published, because once you do that, especially if you self-publish your first book, it's very difficult to get a contract with an agency, a literary agency.
Oh, okay.
Because at that point now, you know, the responsibility is on you to sell 10 to 12,000 copies.
Right.
Right. And so I did. I self-published, and I'm proud of myself because it's a damn good book. It's got 4.6 out of 5 stars.
Hey,
and
shout out to that.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time and energy in that book. It took me 4.5 years to write. I had to take 3
You didn't use
courses.
ChatGPT and just do it in 2 days?
No, I don't know if it's very funny. It's a very funny book. You know, I take the science of sex, and then, you know, then a few anecdotal examples from my life, and then really spell out what it all means. And so it's pretty funny. So I don't know.
Are there some examples from that book that you could give our listeners of, you know, an example of the science of sex, or
something that's funny? The science of sex.
It doesn't have to be funny. I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
The G spot. I don't want to put you on that, but you know.
The G-spot. I think the G-spot is mythical, by the way.
It is mythical. Okay.
I think
why?
it is.
Why is that mythical? So not everybody. It's just a made up. There is a spot, but it's kind of.
I think it's the spot is called the clitoris. I mean, I pretty much think.
Right. That's it. The
that's
G
what
spot.
you're going for.
What is the G for? What does the G stand for?
I don't know.
The go button. I mean, that's what
maybe.
You know. As long as you're doing one of those, you know, hey, you're pretty good for a while.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, we've talked about this in the past.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. What I think is a big problem is pornography, which it's a great thing. I love pornography, but I think a lot of the problem we've talked about in the past that's how most people think, men especially, how sex has to be. You know, and they leave out the whole buildup that, hey, there was like a date before this. maybe a few dates before this. You know, you had some dinners. You know, you took her out for drinks. Like, you really got to know her. Like, there were some items. Then maybe you guys hopefully started having some sexual relations. And then after a while of it, then you get to the porno, the banging, the rapey
Once
part
you
of
get
it,
in there,
you know? Like
you
Ali
get all
Wong
rapey
has...
and murder the vagina the first chance you get.
Yeah, exactly. But I realize, that's guys,
That's right.
a lot of times we'll go right to murdering it. We gotta murder the pussy. And you're like, no, you have to build up to the murder scene.
Right. You have to
There
build
was
up to
Ali
the murder
Wong,
scene.
a comedian, you know, she had the joke, you know, I want it to start off real nice, real slow, and then get real rapey, you know?
Sometimes. I think a vagina needs a good murdering maybe once or twice a year. But in
that's
general,
it. I think a lot of, but most
we don't need it that
me,
often.
Yeah, see, I think that's a problem. You know, my wife will even sometimes be like, okay, easy. You don't have to, and I'm like, what? You know,
Here's the deal. Here's a problem with porn.
Tell our listeners. Go
I will
ahead.
tell them. Here's a problem with porn. This is something I wrote about in my book. Very briefly, I did spend time on this subject. But the problem with porn for men, there are two problems. One is that, like you said, they watch this porn and they think that that's how real sex is supposed to be. And, you know, the thing about murdering somebody's vagina is I don't want you to do that to me. You know what I mean? If I can feel like the next day, if I feel uncomfortable because you murdered the vajooty,
right? That might be.
You're an asshole, and I'm never calling you back.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it just needs a good murdering once or twice a year just to show it who's boss. But by and large, what you see in porn is not what we want.
It's not what most women want.
It's not what we want.
They would. Women, I think, would prefer it a little softer and slower rather than. Super, super hard and pile driving.
Well, you're right. Because by and large, when women connect with a man sexually, it's someone that they have emotional feelings for to some degree. And so, you know, unless she's really, unless I'm really drunk.
Unless she's a hoe and she's drunk. Unless she's
Unless
on that
she's
tequila.
a drunk hoe, and then, you know, anything goes.
Anything
the
goes.
other problem with porn is that for some men, and I wouldn't even call it a majority, maybe there's a soft minority of men, and this is also how the brain works, so I can get a little bit of brain science here.
Yes, please give it to us.
Some men get hooked on porn. Now, by and large, most men can watch porn and have no problem with. A lot of women
Are they
watch
hooked on porn or masturbation? Sorry to interrupt.
It's probably a little bit of both, but the problem with the way the brain works when you're using your imagination, the components of your brain separately can't distinguish between fantasy and reality.
Oh, I see.
So, for example, when you imagine something happening versus when you see it with your eyes, the same process happens. It starts with the eyes if you're really seeing this thing, and that signal travels to the occipital lobe, and then there's a course that happens.
This is where Samantha's brains come out. Yep, keep going.
Now, when you imagine that thing, in other words, it doesn't start with your eyes. It starts with your frontal lobe.
Right.
It goes in the same pattern, but it does it backwards. Okay, so if you're seeing something...
Maybe I should have smoked weed before this volume.
Well, here's the thing. The same process happens when you're fantasizing about something rather as opposed to actually experiencing something, except in reverse.
So, like, almost in a way, if I'm watching porn, what happens is then I'm in a real sexual situation, and I'm saying I'm going to apply these porn things that I've seen to this real situation. Is that it at all? No.
Your brain is going to do the exact same thing whether you're watching the porn or actually having sex. It's just going to do it in two different directions.
And I'll last longer, hopefully, in sex than I do if I'm going to, do it myself.
Right. Well, thanks. Thanks
But
for letting us know about that.
Thank you. But isn't masturbation healthy though? I think there's
right. So I think it's healthy for most people, for most men. And porn is not dangerous. But what happens with some men is that because for me, my addiction is alcohol. Right. I'm a sober alcoholic today. Thank God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But other people,
white boys go. Woo.
Yeah. So
even though they're all drinking, but.
Right, but for men, porn and sex can sometimes be an easy addiction. So what'll happen is if a man, some men will watch porn and do, the same way a drug addict might sacrifice all these things in their real lives to get drugs. Men will do that. They'll sacrifice sleep. They'll sacrifice sex with their spouses. They'll sacrifice time with their kids just so they can watch porn and masturbate.
Wow, that's insane.
To the extent that when the time comes for a real warm body, they're not even turned on. on because their brain is so used
Wow,
to a
that.
certain trajectory of thinking to get turned on. And again, I would say it's in rare cases, but
That's interesting.
it's very
to me.
devastating when that's the case,
And
especially in a marriage situation.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because you don't want to have it where, oh no, I'm good, honey. I'm just gonna watch this porn instead. That's not a good situation.
Right.
Now I've kind of had this like just recently, not recently, but I've heard this for a while, and it seems that black men are a little bit more insecure about masturbation than like white dudes. They'll just, oh yeah, do I jerk off all day or just whatever. And where I've found like, I've even heard like some black men, and again, this could be a racial stereotype alert, Sam. But they're like, dude, no, I don't jack off. Like, no, that's gay, or like I'd save it for my woman. I don't ever masturbate. Have you heard this at all before? Or
well, the only time I've ever heard it was Chris Spencer has a joke on stage where he talks about how white guys think it's cool when you guys are like hanging out being bros. A white dude,
the circle jerk one,
right? Like might pull out his dick and be like, touch it, and it's funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I'm not
black
that
people
level.
don't do shit like that.
No, black people don't do shit like that. I'm not that level of white guy. We're like, dude, I'm gonna fuck you, but we'll do, dude, I'm gonna fuck you, man, or touch my dick, man. Like I had a
pause, like really, seriously,
release and pause.
Brothers are pausing.
Yeah, I had somebody, an ex brother-in-law, who actually, when I would see him, sometimes he would like grab my dick, and it was totally uncomfortable. It was like he would greet me and just be like, "Hey, man, good to see you," and I'm like, "No, what in the Crocodile Dundee type shit was that?"
Right.
So there's
and like
some
mutual masturbation, you hear about that in sex education as you come up. A lot of young men,
dudes are jerking off.
Men, boys, right?
I could see that
are doing that to each other.
Yeah, I could
but
see that.
Shit, I don't think that shit happening in black communities.
Yeah,
very often.
I could see that happening. But white people, we've been afforded the white privilege to be able to be like, again. I mean, I hate to go here. We'll go somewhere else real quick. I think we've talked about this, but I think it dates back to the emasculation of the black man, and so it kind of goes on of
right. They're not allowed to use their penises.
Without
offending
it was
people?
like, the slave master used to rape the biggest person, the biggest slave, and so emasculated him, raping him in front of everybody.
Bucking is what they call it.
Exactly. So I think a lot of times when you'll talk about some black men say no homo, or there's some homophobia a little bit more so than white men sometimes seem to have. And these are all stereotypes, that a lot of it, I think, goes back to that history of where white people don't have as much of that history. And so that frat jackass kind of comedy of like, yo,
maybe a little more freedom.
They had that freedom. I'm going to put a car in my ass. Like, you never would have seen a group of black kids like putting a car up in their ass with lube and all thinking it was so hilarious. And you know what I mean?
Ironically, that makes me think of that Eddie Murphy. It wasn't a song. I think it was on one of his albums.
Something weird and dirty.
Bro, he was singing. I got to figure out where I heard it and when he was saying
great.
put a big old clown in your butt.
Who knows? Sounds
put
about
something
right.
in your butt. I'm not crazy.
Something
I'm gonna find
ass,
it. It was just like running off this list of all these things. Put a blank in your butt. Put a big old. I remember him saying clown in your butt.
Okay.
So
we'll have to look up that song.
We got to look that up now.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I digress a little bit.
I think I just helped you. I just helped you digress.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's all interesting, all these different things. But we can switch the wheels, the topics a little bit. This is good before I, get too far into it. So
show the logo on there.
Oh, that's okay, Sam. Nobody gives a shit about logos on my show. Nobody's watching it that much to take me down for you drinking some LaCroix on this bitch. That roach water.
Is that what?
I don't know. Somebody said something about roaches and LaCroix. I don't know what it is, but it's a drink away. It's good. So besides that, Sam, we're rolling along.
Yeah.
So what is next for you? Let me tell people about this. You're an amazing artiste. So tell people about your artistic skills, how you're able to draw people like Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
As a picture. It looks like a picture.
I tell you what, this talent, I've made probably less than $100 over my lifetime using, with pencil art.
That's
but
okay.
It's one of those things, though, that once people know that about me, they never forget me. So I can, and sometimes I do brag about it, right? If
You should.
You know, if I want somebody to remember me, I let them know that I have this talent that I inherited from my father. Never been to an art class in my life, but I can draw your face and make it look like a photograph.
It's insane.
Hyper realistic pencil art. So if you go to Google and you search best pencil art of Denzel Washington or something of the sort.
You're up in it?
I'm up in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is yours rank, would you say, if you're being honest?
I mean, not to be, overly
Please
confident,
do
but
it. Be overly
I can draw just as detailed as the best in the world. I mean, I think that there comes a point where the level of detail and level of quality just depends on how long I spend on the piece.
I was going to say that it seems like once you have that skill set, it just depends how long
How
do you
much
want
time
me
do
to
I
spend on it.
spend?
How
Yeah.
long are you going to pay me
Yeah.
to spend on
Right.
making it look like there's sweat on your forehead?
Right, I can draw it all. I can, if I can see it, I can draw it.
Right. That's such an amazing skill to have, to be able to see something and draw it so accurate. I mean, imagine how useful you would have been way back in the day. I mean, you're still useful today, but I mean, when people didn't have photographs or anything, and you could have like drawn somebody exactly for what they looked like. And
Yeah, I would have been a really lucrative slave. I would have been like,
I didn't say that.
I'm just
I did
saying.
not say that, Sam.
No. I did. I did.
Yeah, I know, but they took this out of context.
My job would have been sucking Master's dick and drawing portraits. That's
okay. All right. On the next Samson's World. No. All right. So
I know it's the first thing I think of when people bring up, back in the day before we had,
yeah, drawing pictures
prior
and
to
sucking dick.
the late 1800s.
But why didn't anybody? It's funny in art, you don't really see
I would have been
lot.
a slave.
Well, yeah, but okay, no. Let me, hold on, no. I'm not agreeing to that. What I'm saying is, why don't you see your type of level of artistic skill set to be able to draw a picture? You don't really see that in old art at all. You know what I mean? A lot of the, say the Mona Lisa or something, they look good, but they're not exact.
Oh, you mean the realism?
Yeah, realism. Is that because as art, it wasn't there yet, or that somebody couldn't actually draw? Why didn't anybody draw with complete realism?
I think it's there. I think that what became popular were some of the other type styles. Look at Van Gogh, and you look at some of these artists that people that aren't in the art world have ever even heard of. You're not seeing a lot of realistic.
But do you think they could do it? Also, I mean, I'm guessing
I think they could.
Yeah, they just.
I think they could.
Interesting. They
just
chose not to.
Added a style. Right,
because I would have
styles.
I would have thought before the days of photographs that would have been a very regular thing to have yourself or your family drawn.
Right, immortalized
is like so accurate,
Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things. I've barely been paid for it. People are not lining up for pencil art, but they do appreciate it.
They should be
as a talent.
Hold on, I just realized my phone. I've misplaced it over here. Because for us to be able to call somebody and prank them.
Oh, are we going to call one of my friends?
I don't know. Do you want to, or you don't have to if you don't want to?
I would have you call my mom. She's hilarious. The problem is she's dead.
Why did you have to do that, Sam? We'll call her anyway.
Should have been the good one to call. We could call her husband.
Yeah?
Her late husband.
Her late husband. Okay, well, let me hear. Stay here and talk.
I got to
Where
get
are you going?
my phone
No,
so I can
don't.
get his phone number.
Oh, so you can get us. Okay, well, why don't you go over there and get it and get my phone up on the desk if you see it over there, because I think it's got to be over there. So, guys, do you see? Don't trip over anything. We just had Slink Johnson here, guys, a little bit, and I love Slink, but, man, he's a big old 6'7" dude, and I thought he was just going to fall. Was my phone not over there? Maybe I left it on the charger. That's okay. We won't be able to do it. So come on here, Sam. That's okay.
Can we not just use my phone?
No, it won't work because, well, you could connect yours Bluetooth. If you connect yours, but they'll know that it's coming from your phone. Maybe.
I think Calvin will hang up on you.
On me? Okay. Anyway. Well, you can, if you want to connect yours to the Bluetooth, go to your Bluetooth and go to Rodecaster 2 and see if you can connect that shit. It's a little bit of technology behind the scene, folks, at the Samson's World podcast. That's how we do. Shout out.
Say the Bluetooth again.
Rodecaster 2. Yeah, but so.
Yeah, it ain't working.
It ain't working. That's okay.
Something's not working for us. Oh, well. Okay. Pipe dreams.
It doesn't always have to be, about a prank. So what else, Sam? So talk to us about, you are also recently a farmer.
Oh my gosh,
So tell us all about, this is your new
that's
obsession.
my new exciting obsession. How did it start? Earlier this year, I saw a news report about the banks failing. A couple of banks failed early in the year. So I immediately went on my phone and I go, "Hey Siri, can you buy live chickens on Amazon?"
Again, another reasonable thing that somebody would do. Banks are failing. Siri, can you buy chickens?
Can you buy live chickens? Apparently you cannot, but you can buy
Bing.
fertilized.
You cannot buy chickens, Samantha.
But you can buy fertilized eggs. Same difference. That and an incubator. So fast forward to today, I have like 25 quail, and they're going through the system. Meaning, I'm doing this
Tell
as
them
a
about
farmer.
your fucking system, dude. This
The
is crazy,
system
guys.
is that they come. So I bought 20. Let's see, I spent $20 on 12 fertilized quail eggs.
Okay.
I fertilized them and incubated them. Sorry, I didn't fertilize them. I incubated them and then
You sat on them.
and then about 3 weeks later, I ended up with 5 healthy birds.
That's so crazy.
2 of which were male and the other 3 were female. And so I built a coop. I did my research and
You got a chicken coop. Are they?
started this whole thing.
What is the male? Is the male a quail, or is there a different quail? Are
He's
they all
a
quails?
quail. They're male and female quails.
Okay,
They're all
not
quails.
pigeons, right?
They're not pigeons. They're a little bigger than pigeons and smaller than chickens. And a lot of people market them as a new chicken because you don't need a lot of space to raise them.
What about a
they're
Cornish game
quiet.
hen? Is that same thing?
They're probably a tad bigger. Cornish hens are a tad bigger than quail.
Oh, they are a tad bigger. A game hen.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow. So keep talking to me about it. So you've got them all. So you're not just getting eggs from them.
So apparently, like I just wanted the eggs because the thought of what they call culling an animal.
Cucking an animal.
Culling.
Culling. Okay.
To cull them means to slaughter them for.
Oh God. Here's
Right.
where it gets bad.
It
folks.
gets pretty gnarly.
Here's where you
I
start to
didn't
not like
intentionally-
Sam as much as you
I
used
know
to like her
some
because she's
people
a
are gonna
killer.
hate me. Yeah, I have to kill a few birds every couple weeks. Turns out, there's really no other. Once you start, it's too late. I already started. I'm this deep. And
How many birds have you killed now?
So far,
What's your body
10,
count?
10 bodies. That's way better than my real body count, by the way.
Damn, what's
Yikes.
up? Now, what's crazy about this is we're joking, and I'm like, oh my God,
Are we?
you're killing birds. Oh my God, but
Yeah.
I go to the grocery store all the time. I buy
And
chicken,
buy chickens.
and the part I'm skipping the big part of
Yeah.
culling it.
Culling it.
I
Right.
culled. Can you cull a pussy? Do you cull the pussy then or no?
Only once or twice a year. Recommended.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you for
Remember?
that. I do now. Okay, so that's hilarious, but that's crazy. So
Yeah.
because you told
I had no
me.
choice.
No, you don't.
Because you end up with these males, you end up with these birds. Some of them are aggressive, and there's nothing. The males crow, they make a little pleasant sound, but if he's aggressive, you can't pair them with a female because he'll just like abuse her. And so I ended
Typical
up
male.
right, but just sort of dipping my both my hands in this process. I couldn't avoid culling them because
That's part of the process. It's
part
a
of the
farmer.
process,
You
right?
gotta
The
do
whole
it.
beta test was, can I be self-sufficient? Can I grow enough food and actually produce food on a 200 square inch patio?
Which I think is what's so amazing is you're producing food on a 200 square foot patio, like
Yeah.
you said, when most of us, if everything shut down, all the electric, everything, none of us would know how to
Right.
make our own food,
It
kill it.
takes
or do
about 2 months to starve a community. It literally happened back in
Right.
the early 1900s in India. The British and
Yeah, it
the
wouldn't
UK
take
were
us
taking
long.
food. Right. So
What would we do?
if I couldn't get to a grocery store, I can still have meat and eggs.
God, that's
and
amazing.
some, plants that I'm growing.
Yeah. Now, okay,
Yeah.
so I want to get some of these quails. I definitely
I'll
want to
give
eat
you
one. And I
some.
won't tell Liz because I think she freaked out about it. She's like, she's killing quails over there. I'm like, Liz, we go to fucking the grocery store
Right.
I'm making Cornish game hen right now.
Yeah.
Like, what is your deal?
I'm feeding them. They're organic. I'm feeding them all kinds of delicious, fresh,
yes.
greens and healthy organic food. I treat
Exactly.
them well. They've got plenty of good health
tunes.
care. Yeah, and tunes. I do play
Reggae, they get
like
some
Prince.
cannabis. Yeah, they
seem
like Prince.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, they're probably since I built the greenhouse, I might be hotboxing a few of them that are.
Hilarious.
But
but that's the funny.
it's a
but,
good life.
Right, but then compared to the chicken we're eating is probably pumped with hormones.
It's
miserable.
a horrid,
But we
miserable.
trust that. Why do I
right,
trust
life.
that? But we worry about my friend growing them in her
A lot of
apartment.
people are freaked out about it. Like when I first explained to them, I
Right.
have these quail, I get eggs and so forth. And they, oh, that's
Right.
cool. As soon as they see a quail egg, it just kind of pops and it hits them
Yeah.
and they go, ew.
How big is a quail's egg?
They're small, so it takes about 3 quail eggs to equate to 1 chicken egg.
Oh, so because I do in sushi, I think those are quail's eggs actually
Probably.
that I use. Yeah.
It's a delicacy.
We eat them raw. I eat the quail egg raw.
Right. That's a delicacy. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
How many do they? I got to get some of these.
The hens lay an egg every day.
Okay, can I get a quail from you? Or
Do you
still
want a female? Do you want just eggs or you want meat? Because if you get males, you're gonna have to eat. When I first
No. I don't want to start raising chickens.
Okay,
Sam.
so that's just the
No,
females.
my wife, she already said I cannot be raising any chickens. But you were saying you had some frozen ones that I could cook. Do you have any to cook?
I have some in the freezer.
right.
Oh, you just want?
I want
right,
to eat
the
one.
meat.
Yeah, I'm skipping the whole fucking. Sorry, I'm one of those. I need to learn how to survive on my own, but I don't have the bandwidth right now to fucking pick up a chicken ranch.
Well, I have 8 frozen quail in the freezer.
What do you sell those for? What are those?
I
go
don't.
For?
I eat them.
Oh, you eat them. Okay. Well, I don't want to take away your personal supply, but maybe I'll get one of them just to open it up on Christmas and just be like, hey guys.
Well, if you get the females,
Sam makes these on her
if
patio.
you take on my patio, maybe that's what
sounds so
grosses
great.
people out about it. Not that they're quail; it's just that they come from my patio.
This is organic
That's
quail,
okay.
farm raised on a patio.
It's okay. The only reason I even offer, because I get so many eggs, the only reason I even offer food is because I have too many eggs, and so
Are the eggs good compared to
they're
chicken eggs?
really good. They're very creamy. They're very tasty.
Because I usually, if I'm making eggs, I'll eat 3 to 4 eggs at a time. So you're talking
So when
about
I make
need
breakfast,
to make 10 eggs.
when I make
God
breakfast
damn.
for my children, I'm cracking 12 to 24 eggs.
How do you have that many eggs, dude? They only make one
You
a day.
get really fast at it. You get really good
you're
at
like,
it.
ting, ting, ting,
Well,
ting. Yeah,
because
those little.
I have 12 hens laying eggs
right,
every day, so I get a dozen every day.
It just sounds like Willy Wonka over at your place. I gotta go over to your place now again. Oh my God. So okay, I will definitely take maybe
Oh my
one,
God.
maybe one if you don't mind.
I could give you a shit ton of quail
I'll
eggs.
cash app you for it. I'll take some quail's eggs.
And then you want some quail meat.
yeah, whatever.
Somebody's going to call the authorities on
Yeah.
us. This sounds
this-
very shady.
FDA is definitely picking up this algorithm. They're like, shut her down.
Here's the thing. Legally, I can't sell them to you.
Okay, so let's not do that.
So I have to give them to you.
give them to me, bro. Wink, wink. Give them to me, bro. Yeah, but all right, Sam, this has been an excellent little episode
Wow.
here in Volume. Tell the people
Yeah.
where they can find you on social media.
Well, clearly, I overdo shit, right? No one will ever forget that
I see
after
where that
hearing
went.
this. So my handle everywhere on social media is I overdo it, and you spell I like the eye on your face, EYE overdo it, and
It's
yeah.
right below you now. People can see it in the.
Okay, very
they'll be able
good.
to see
And
it.
also Speak. Now Speak. I had to, just personal issues, and I had to take shut Speak's doors.
we
temporarily.
all have to take some time down.
But I am partnering with a friend of mine in the industry, and we are going to bring Speak back at a different venue.
I love that.
Yes. So at the start of the year or sooner, there may be a sooner opportunity.
I like sooner.
You will see me start to market
That's
a show,
great.
a
I'm
Speak
glad to hear
reunion,
that.
and I'm really hoping that everyone that has been a part of that will show up and support that.
I think they
It's
will.
going to be a banger.
I think they really will. And again, guys, Samson here. You can follow me at Samson Crouppen on my YouTube. Please subscribe. My Instagram. Please subscribe to my TikTok. Trying to become Matt Rife. And and also, I have a new show at the Ice House, Samson's World Live. It's going to be amazing. December 13th, a Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. And we just added Nick Kroll to the lineup, which I can't believe. That's amazing. We also have Franz Cassius, Paul Elia, Brandon Brody, Del Harrison, and James Davis on that lineup. So it's a hot show.
Fire. Wow.
So we'll see you guys next time on Samson's World. Thank you very much, Sam. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Sam.
Look, Mom and Dad, I'm on TV.